An iconic broadcaster, Luther Masingill, has passed away. Friends and co-workers of Luther confirmed to News Channel 9 that he died peacefully this morning at the age of 92. He had his wife, Mary, by his side. We're told Luther was admitted to the hospital over the weekend, but we don't know why. Luther began broadcasting in 1940. He had been on air ever since. He holds the record for the longest-serving broadcaster at a single station with 74 years on air. He is also the only person in broadcasting to broadcast live during the attacks on Pearl Harbor and September 11th. He was known for his deep, mellow voice, and he dedicated a lot of his time to helping people find their lost pets. Luther was also selected for the National and Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. That happened back in 2012. Now, the list of accolades and awards can go on and on, but now we are joined by one of our hosts of This and That, Brian Smith, who you also worked with, Luther, for about 10 years. So your reaction?
Yeah, you know, it was a pleasure to be able to sit next to him for just over 8 years and to talk with him, to see him every day. And I think one of the best things about Luther is he was the man behind the microphone. He had that wonderful voice, as you mentioned, that dark, deep voice, but to be able to see his smile, to come in before the show had started, this particular case was doing a noon show with him, and see his smile, to see the joke that he might crack, always very happy about what he did. And probably what I could sort of learn from him that just empowered it, and me and many others too, is how dedicated he was to his job, to his career, which he loved. I mean, we tell him, it's snowing, don't drive in. He was driving in last week in his old white truck, still driving in. But, tell him to stay home. You don't have to come in, but he has to come in. He wants to come in and get that news out, get that information out. And it goes much further beyond a dog or a lost cat. It's being a true Chattanoogan, caring about his community, caring about what he loved best.
A true Chattanoogan. Do you believe that will be the legacy he leaves behind?
I think so, because we all live busy lives. We are in so many different directions. We all love where we're at. This is why we're here. But this is a man that had been here for his entire life, seen Chattanooga through its worst of times, through its best of times, but he was Chattanooga. He's been voted Mr. Chattanooga I don't know how many times. Obviously, as you see here, he's got part of Broad Street named after him, and I remember that day as well. I was like, I'm not dead yet. But he cared about his community. That's the biggest thing here. And, if we all sort of sat back and said, I really appreciate where I'm at, what the city has done for me, we can learn it from him and what he was able to do and do it and do something that he loved until that very moment that he passed away.
A couple final words.
He's going to be missed. I think that's going to be said many times. That voice, that familiarity that you had every single morning is going to be missed, because you always knew he was going to come back. Even when I had heard that he was in the hospital, I knew he's going to be back next week. But in this case, I know he's in a great place as well, and he's going to be loved, and he's loved down here just as much as he's loved up there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And, of course, thoughts and prayers are with WDEF Radio and, of course, his friends and family. And we're also hearing a lot of reaction from local leaders as well about the passing of Luther. Hamilton County Mayor Jim Coppinger had this to say. Luther impacted generations of people, not only Hamilton County, but throughout the region. Coppinger went on to say that he grew up listening to Luther and then met and worked with him several times. He continued by saying, "I always walked away from each encounter with a smile. Luther was unique, special, and beloved." Also, Mayor Andy Burke, Chattanooga mayor that is, he tweeted out, "There's an empty space on the dial this morning. We will miss you, Luther."